Let's get to this song here. We have just 4 chords for this opening, and it's really pretty neat. It sounds like they're really complicated chords, and I guess they would be theoretically if you're studying music theory, but if you're just playing the guitar here, it's really not that complicated. They've got some kind of effect on there. I'm not using an effect. I just want to show you the chords, because I think it's also, if you have an effect on there sometimes, it's easy to hear things that aren't there, and I like it to be really clear for you when you're learning it. So we're going to start with a bar chord, and this is how we're going to do that. If you're playing on an acoustic, the bar chord is probably going to be a little more difficult for you to do. And if you're playing on a cheap instrument, an instrument that's just not high quality, it could be not your fault if you're not able to do the bar chord very well, and it's really difficult for you. It could just be your instrument, because you have a real thick neck, a real cheap acoustic guitar that you bought in a pawn shop or something. You might need to invest in a more high quality instrument. That's why I recommend starting on an electric, because it's just easier to play to start with, and you can play acoustic things on electric. But you can't really play, songs with distortion and stuff on an acoustic very well. So here's my little tip about that. So let's start by taking our first finger. Let me mention first that they are tuned down in the recording. Alice in Chains always tune down the strings. So when we play it, it's not going to sound right unless we tune our guitar down too. I don't want to do that because it's a big mess and having to tune it back up for other things. And of course that's bad on your strings too if you do it a whole lot. So I'm going to leave it in standard tuning. If you want to tune down and then have it sound just like the recording, do that. But I'm going to stay in standard here. So we're going to take our first finger. Actually, let me teach it to you this way. Let's do a power chord. Most of you should know what a power chord is by now if you've been following my lessons. And that's where you take your first finger, your pointer finger, we put it on the 2nd fret here. Okay? On the low E string. The low E string is, of course, the one closest to the ceiling. Alright, 2nd fret, and we want to be kind of to the right, close to the fret there, to the metal bar there, because it gets the note down better. If you're too much this way, you might get a buzzing sound, or the note may not come out. So get that 2nd fret there, and then we're going to take our ring finger, we're going to go 2 frets to the right, put it in fret 4 on the A string. Now the A string is the string next down closest to the floor there. So we have the E string and then the A string with the ring finger. We're going to take our pinky, put it on the D string on the 4th fret as well. Now when you do a power chord, the first finger is always the leader. Okay? It's wherever it goes, it's the leader, and these 2 fingers are always just 2 frets away, and I just imagine a rubber band around those 2 fingers, and they're just always 2 frets away wherever you go. So we're on the 2nd fret here on the low E, and then the 4th fret on the A and the D string. Now we have that power chord. You want to test it. Make sure you get those 3 strings. Now what we're going to do now is add our middle finger. We're going to put it on the G string here, which is the next string towards the floor. Alright, in the 3rd fret. So now we have all 4 fingers down. Now let's test that. Okay? It's an F sharp major chord, if you're curious. Alright? Now we got one more thing to do, and this is the tough part. Take this first finger now and flatten it out and press down all the strings with that one finger. Now when I do it, I don't put it perpendicular straight down. I kind of roll it this way a little bit. Like that. It helps me get all the strings down a little better. Okay, it's a little bit easier that way to me. Okay, but you'll have to find your own way. Everybody's finger's different. Alright, anyway, that's the first chord. Now this is where it really gets neat. All he does is lift up the first finger and see what chord that makes. Okay, that's the next chord. You just strum them all. Then I know the guitarist was probably just sitting around one day and did that, saying, "Oh, that sounds cool," because you can't do that with any other chord on the guitar. That's the only place it works. To do it that way, just lift up that finger. All right. So we start with this chord, F sharp major chord here, lift up. Now, if you can't get your bar all the way down there, and you don't get all of them, and you have this, and then lift up, it's still going to sound okay. So if you can't get every string to come out, don't worry about it. Just keep practicing on doing it. But it's not going to sound bad if you can't get all the strings down. Okay, but then lift up, and then you have that. Now we're going to do the strumming in a minute. But let's get the next chord. Now the next chord is very easy because we're going to do the same thing with our hand, our left hand. We're just going to move to the right 1, 2, 3 frets to get on fret 5. Now this is an A major chord right here, okay? And if you check out my videos on the website there, on my channel description, I explain what all the bar chords are, how to use them, how to practice them, and so forth. But anyway, we have an A chord right here on the 5th fret, and we're going to do the same thing. Let's do the power chord first. 5th fret with the first finger, 7th fret, because it's always 2 frets away, right? On the A string, and 7th fret on the D string. Alright, so I got that. Now I'm going to add a middle finger to the fret that's in between, which is the 6th fret on the G string, and then test the strings and then lay that bar down. Now, that's the first chord. Now the next one you just lift. Okay, that's our second chord. So there's 4 chords all together. You have this one down here, and then you go to the 5th fret. Alright, now the strumming. Before you do the strumming, you want to get this left hand down, so I just want you to go back and forth. 2nd fret, a down strum for each. I'm just using my fingers, but you can use a pick, of course. And then come up to 5. And then back. Okay? Now, adding some strumming. I'm not doing exactly what they do, probably, but just something similar. I'm just going down, 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 and then down, down, down. Okay, so you can listen to the recording and do exactly the strumming pattern there, but the main thing is I want to just show you the chords. Here's a cool thing about whenever you're going from one position in the left hand to another, okay, because what's hard is the change, right? Once you get there, it's not hard to strum it, but getting from one chord to the next chord. So what you can do, whenever you do that, if you have open strings that are ringing, it's going to kind of cover up the change if you want to leave a little early, like if you want to go... See, I still have 3 strings that are ringing while I'm moving, so it kind of covers up that little change there if I want to leave a little early. Okay, so that kind of helps. You can still hear it a little bit, but...